Marcus Chen had been working on the Calthrian colony ship for 3 months now, and he still wasn't used to being the only human among a crew of apex predators. The Calthrians stood nearly 8 feet tall, with sleek fur that ranged from deep crimson to charcoal black, powerful limbs built for the hunt, and eyes that could spot movement from across a dark room. Their ancestors had climbed to the top of their world's food chain through strength, speed, and cunning. Yet here Marcus was, a maintenance engineer from Earth, fixing their ventilation systems and recalibrating their gravity generators. The Galactic Union had assigned him here as part of the integration program, proving that humans could work alongside any species, even those who still carried the instincts of predators in their blood. Most of the crew treated him with professional courtesy, though he noticed how they sometimes stared at him in the corridors. Humans were strange to them, weak-looking creatures who had somehow conquered their own planet not through claws or fangs, but through persistence and tool-making. The Calthrians respected strength, and they weren't quite sure what to make of Marcus yet. The trouble started when Commander Vralik brought his daughter aboard. Kessa was 7 years old in human terms, though Calthrian children matured faster than human ones. She had bright amber eyes and russet fur that was still soft with youth. Her mother had died in a transport accident, and Vralik had no choice but to bring her on this deep space mission. The commander was a stern warrior, respected by all, but when he looked at his daughter, something gentle crossed his fierce features. Marcus first encountered Kessa in the engine room. He was replacing a damaged coolant valve, his toolbox spread out on the floor beside him, when he felt eyes watching him. He turned and saw her peeking around a support beam, her tail twitching with curiosity. "Hello there," Marcus said, keeping his voice soft and non-threatening. Kessa's ears flattened slightly and she darted away. Marcus shrugged and went back to work. Over the following days, he noticed her watching him more often, always from a distance, always ready to flee. The other Calthrians had warned him that their young were taught to be cautious around unknown species, especially ones they couldn't easily categorize as prey or non-threat. One morning, Marcus arrived at his workspace to find his sonic wrench missing. He frowned, searching through his toolbox twice, then checking the nearby surfaces. It wasn't a critical loss, he had backups, but it was strange. Tools didn't just walk away on a spaceship. The next day, his plasma cutter vanished, then his favorite calibration scanner, then his molecular welder. Marcus began to suspect what was happening when he caught a glimpse of russet fur disappearing around a corner just as he arrived at his locker. He said nothing, made no accusation, but he started paying closer attention. Sure enough, whenever Kessa appeared nearby, another tool would go missing within the hour. The young Calthrian was stealing from him. Marcus could have reported it to Commander Vralik immediately. The Calthrians took theft seriously, and even a cub would face consequences for such behavior. But something made Marcus hesitate. He remembered being young, remembered the strange compulsions of childhood, the need to collect things, to test boundaries, to understand the world through touch and possession. Instead of confronting her, Marcus simply continued his work with his remaining tools. He requisitioned replacements from the ship's supplies, claiming normal wear and tear. He made sure to leave his toolbox in the same accessible spot, never locked away, never guarded. And when he saw Kessa watching him from the shadows, he pretended not to notice. The pattern continued for 2 weeks. Kessa would sneak closer, her movements getting bolder, her confidence growing. Sometimes Marcus would deliberately turn his back, giving her easy access to whatever caught her interest that day. A hydrospanner, a graviton detector. A simple handheld light. Each item disappeared like clockwork. Marcus noticed that Kessa never took anything dangerous or critical. She seemed drawn to the tools that lit up, that hummed with energy, that felt substantial in small hands. She was fascinated by them, by the way Marcus used them to reshape metal, to command electricity, to bend the ship's systems to his will. The other crew members remained oblivious. To them, Kessa was just a cub beneath their notice as they went about their duties. They didn't see how she shadowed the human, how her amber eyes tracked his every movement with intense focus. They didn't understand that she was learning. One evening, as Marcus prepared to return to his quarters after a long shift, he deliberately left his newest acquisition on his workbench, a multi-phase oscillator that sparkled with blue light when activated. It was pretty, mesmerizing, exactly the kind of thing that would draw a young mind's attention. He made a show of powering it down and walking away, leaving it completely exposed. From the corner of his eye, he saw Kessa emerge from her hiding spot. She approached the workbench slowly, cautiously, her clawed hands reaching out to touch the tool. Her ears swiveled constantly, listening for any sign that she'd been detected. Then, quick as lightning, she grabbed the oscillator and vanished into the shadows. Marcus smiled to himself and headed to his quarters. The next morning changed everything. Marcus woke to find something small and dark placed carefully on the floor beside his bed. He sat up, rubbing sleep from his eyes, and looked closer. It was a carved piece of Calthrian ironwood, shaped into a small token. The craftsmanship was crude, clearly made by young hands, but the symbol was unmistakable. It was a Calthrian gift mark, a gesture of trade and respect. Marcus picked it up, turning it over in his hands. His chest tightened with unexpected emotion. This wasn't just a random object. This was an offering, a payment, a gesture that said, "I took from you, and now I give back." He got dressed and made his way to the engine room. His toolbox was exactly where he'd left it, but now it was different. Arranged in a neat semicircle around his work area were all of his missing tools. Every single one. The sonic wrench, the plasma cutter, the calibration scanner, the molecular welder, the hydro spanner, the graviton detector, the handheld light, and yes, even the multi-phase oscillator still gleaming blue in the artificial light. But that wasn't all. Beside each tool was another small carved token, each one unique, each one made with painstaking effort. Kessa must have spent the entire night creating them, her small hands working the wood while the ship slept around her. Marcus stood there for a long moment, understanding flooding through him. She hadn't been stealing, or rather, she had been, but not out of malice. She had been collecting these tools because they represented something she didn't have, something she desperately wanted to understand. Humans made things. Humans fixed things. Humans took the broken pieces of the universe and put them back together with patience and clever hands. Calthrians were taught to be hunters, to be warriors, to trust in their physical prowess. But Kessa had seen something different in Marcus. She had seen another way to be strong, and now she was giving everything back, not because she'd been caught, but because she understood. She understood that these tools weren't just objects. They were Marcus's livelihood, his means of helping others, his way of being valuable to the crew. By taking them, she had taken a piece of who he was. The tokens were her apology, her thank you, and her declaration all at once. She was saying, "I see you, I understand now, and I want to give something back." Marcus heard a soft sound and turned to see Kessa standing in the doorway, her tail low, her ears back. She looked terrified and hopeful all at once, waiting to see how he would react. Marcus picked up one of the tokens and held it up to the light, admiring the craftsmanship. "This is beautiful work," he said softly. "You're very talented." Kessa's ears perked up slightly. "You're not angry?" "Angry? No." Marcus set the token down gently among the others. "I'm impressed. These must have taken a long time to make." "All night," Kessa admitted, stepping into the room. "I wanted to make enough, one for each tool, because that's fair trade." "It's more than fair," Marcus assured her. "These tokens are worth far more than my tools. They were made with care and thought. That matters." Kessa moved closer, her confidence growing. I'm sorry I took them. I just wanted to understand. You make things, fix things. My people don't do that. We hunt, we fight, but you're different. Different isn't bad, Marcus said. Your people are strong in their way. Humans are strong in ours. There's room for both kinds of strength in this universe. Kessa's eyes brightened. Father says you're valuable to the crew, that you can do things no Calthrian can do. He says you're proof that strength comes in many forms. Marcus felt a warm glow of pride. Commander Vralik had said that about him. The stern warrior who barely spoke 10 words a day had recognized Marcus's worth. Your father is a wise leader, Marcus said, and you're a clever young person. You learn by watching, by studying, by being curious. That's the most human thing anyone can do. Kessa tilted her head, considering this. Could you teach me? To use the tools? To fix things like you do? Marcus smiled. I'd be honored, but we should probably ask your father first. Commander Vralik gave his permission that very day. Over the following months, Kessa became Marcus's unofficial apprentice. She learned how to calibrate sensors, repair conduits, and diagnose system malfunctions. Her predator reflexes gave her steady hands, and her sharp mind absorbed technical knowledge like a sponge absorbing water. The other crew members watched with amazement as their commander's daughter spent her days working alongside the human, her small hands wielding tools instead of training with weapons. Some whispered that it was inappropriate, that she should be learning warrior skills, but Vralik silenced them with a single stern look. My daughter is learning to be valuable, he said. She is learning that there are many ways to serve, many ways to be strong. The human has taught her this. That is worth more than any combat drill. Kessa kept the tokens she had made, displaying them proudly in her quarters alongside Marcus's teaching materials. And Marcus kept the first one she had given him, the crude little gift mark that had been left beside his bed. He carried it in his pocket as a reminder that trust and understanding could bridge any divide, even between a human and a predator's cub. The story spread throughout the ship, then to other vessels in the fleet. The tale of the predator cub who stole tools and the human who pretended not to notice became a favorite among crews of all species. It reminded them that sometimes the greatest strength wasn't in hunting or fighting, but in patience, in kindness, and in recognizing when someone just wanted to learn. And years later, when Kessa became the first Calthrian engineer in the Galactic Union fleet, she would tell anyone who asked that she learned her trade from a human who understood that the best way to stop a theft wasn't punishment, but compassion.